as an Australian, finding out that they were working on Australian operators, I was so excited.
Gridlock, deploy tracks!
And that's my favorite part of the job, is working with the designers to hear what they want to bring to the game and then figuring out how we can relate that to the character's personality.
What we wanted to achieve is to finally get an attacker that would be able to turn the level design against the defender. We always had in our mind this idea of she needs to conquer rooms. The basic tools that we use were actually usually the most functional for that, which is a bit of damage to feedback how dangerous the device can be. The bigger threat, I think, of this device is the fact that it slows you down, which is a terrible moment to take a gunfight, and it does sound, so it still gives a warning.
They came to me with that story of, okay, she's a mechanic, she grew up in a farm, she needed to be naturally strong. She should be able to lift heavy stuff like it's nothing and continue to talk to you. When we started to design her, we put all the military stuff aside and we started to really create the character. When we nailed the character as a mechanic, we started to say, okay, how are we gonna ground her into the military? She's still an SASR member, but I think in the end we achieved a super unique character.
Her gadget deploys a mat of road spikes, and she actually developed that when she was working in the mobility platoon of the SASR. It used to be mounted on the truck. And then with some finagling, she got it down to something that was portable that she was able to use. Well, if you want to stop traffic, Gridlock is the one who's gonna be the person to do it. That's really it. She's the one who's gonna get everything shut down so that we can talk about this like adults.
So we developed Mozzie and Gridlock at the same time. We knew from the get-go that they were going to be a duo.
So that was exciting because we've had operators from the same division before, but we haven't had two that worked so closely together, so well together, and who complement each other so well.
And it's been in the back of our mind for a very long time of turning attacking drones against them.
He shoots, he scores. That's a drone for us.
But we did iterate a lot on, so what's the delivery system? How do I get control of the drone?
Gridlock and Mozzie, they first met at the inaugural Robot Wars in Australia. They were competing at the time. Mozzie, his robot was not working. And so he asks Gridlock, he's begging her, Gridlock, can you lend me a hand? And Gridlock, she has a soft spot for the underdog, so she does it for him. And the running gag is that Mozzie owes her this whole time for it. Mozzie is a speed demon. He's a dirt bike daredevil. He's crazy, but he's also calculated, and that's why he got picked to join the SASR.
Motorcycle has been the perfect match with the character. And as I do ride motorcycle, I have been pretty picky with the creation of that character. Like all the gear, the helmet, we have really tried to make something realistic and that could work. So the pest was really funny to design. I wanted something that could fit really on him and that he could use on his motorcycle. We've seen the fantasy of on the road, he needs to deploy his gadget, how does it work? So I wanted something low-tech because of the dust, the sand, it has to work anytime, if there's rain, whatever, it has to work. So the slingshot was something really interesting.
Drone hacked, right on the mark.
So we wanted to be like a small animal, and especially connected with Australia. Definitely spiders, so even if you look at the tracks, from Gridlock, the way it's designed, it's kind of a spider web. So the connection with animals and danger was definitely something we wanted.
As a game designer with a mathematical background, I tend to focus on this thing needs to work that way. My point is a reload needs to last that amount of time for gameplay, for balance. This is how you need to make things. However, seeing that reload made me realize how much I'm wrong about being willing to ignore everything around the gameplay, the pure gameplay, because just seeing it gave me this warm feeling of fun and excitement. No, I just seen a cool animation and gave us all the personality that this character needed, and all of a sudden I'm involved in the game even more. That's one of the amazing things of working in the gaming industry. We've surrounded so many talented people with so many different skills. And to me, it's so enjoyable to just be reminded of how what they're doing is awesome, actually, on a daily basis.
So Australia, it was very inspiring. Colorful palette, all the crazy references, crazy movies, obviously.
Well, one of the most fun things about being a level artist is the storytelling, you know? So there's always little things. If you go around and you explore the map, you could kind of like CSI it and put the stories together and kind of guess what happened there beforehand.
We already knew that we wanted to have a garage, a motel, and a restaurant. Like any other map, we start by references, right? We go get references on roadhouses, on hotels, on garages, and all that. Something that we felt like we nailed on really quick was how quick people were able to learn the map. It was crazy. After the first prototype, some of the game designers came over. They were able to tell me, yeah, I can already draw the map in my head after a single playthrough. So that's when we knew, okay, we really got something here and we got to keep pushing onto that to bring it to the next level.
Every time there's a door frame, I want to make sure that within that door frame is framed the thematic of the next room. So as you look through it, you could see the bull on the other side. And we do that all the time, so no matter where you are and where you turn, once you play the map a couple of times, you know exactly your orientation and where you are, and you have a call out. We're always thinking of player orientation and the flow of the map as well, you know? Something as simple as placing a chair. You move it over 10 centimeters and you can completely break the flow of a player's direction, you know? So we're constantly doing little tweaks, talking with my level designer, and we're moving a table over 10 centimeters here, 10 centimeters there to completely help the workflow.
But I think a lot of what we have in the characters of Mozzie and Gridlock is what it is to be an Australian. It's not about being Crocodile Dundee. It's about the little things that we say to each other, the way we phrase things, the kind of tone we take with each other, that we really try to get into their lines to have that relationship with the world that is so Australian.
My tracks do more than a box jellyfish.
Sweet as, grabbed us a drone direct.